Hello cinephiles, movie buffs, and TV aficionados, former film student back with another video. And for any returning viewers, you'll know that I recently posted a video to this channel about The Legend of Vox Machina, an adult animated series over on Amazon Prime that is based on the first D&D campaign of the live play series from Critical Role. The video got a decent amount of love, so I do appreciate all of you who watched the video, liked it, and everyone who commented. And if you have not checked out the video yet, I implore you to do so. However, by far and away, the comment I received the most was that it was imperative that I checked out Critical Role's newest series, The Mighty Nein, which just so happened to have aired its Season 1 finale a little over a week ago. I want to thank everyone who commented recommending me the series, as even though it was already a plan of mine to check out the show, all of the comments encouraging me to watch it definitely inspired me to get to it as soon as I could. And after spending most of the last week on vacation and when I was not preoccupied by family, I was sitting down to binge the first season of The Mighty Nein, and well, as expected, I absolutely loved it. And within 2 episodes, I already knew that I wanted to make a video on the show, and while watching the first season, I was trying to figure out an angle for the video. I didn't just want to make a review because that's not what I really do here, but I was trying to figure out a way that I could really promote the series, but do so from an interesting and unique angle. And along the way, it kind of struck me what it was about Mighty Nein that I was enjoying so damn much. So without further ado, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this video, The Mighty Nein and why different can be a good thing. I think for most people, the most glaring difference between a series like The Legend of Vox Machina and The Mighty Nein is the clear shift in tone. The two series, despite having a similar aesthetic, opt for a much different approach to its characters and storytelling. For starters, the first thing that fans of both series will notice is the difference in both groups and how they are presented. When we meet Vox Machina, they are a ragtag group that are a little wacky, a little dysfunctional at times, and absolutely get on each other's nerves, but at the end of the day, there's a deep-rooted, pre-established love and camaraderie in the group right from the first episode. From there, as the series progresses, the characters are obviously fleshed out and developed, all while the story itself moves along. The characters of Vox Machina are something that I made sure to highlight in my previous video, as I feel they are one of the best parts of that series. And Mighty Nein's characters are no different in that aspect, but how we are introduced to them is very different than Vox Machina. In the first season of Amazon's The Mighty Nein, none of the main characters know each other at the start of the show, and instead of being introduced to them as a group, we are given individualized introductions, which at first caught me off guard, but as the show started to progress, I found myself loving this new approach. What this does is, before the group even unites to fight a common enemy, is it allows us as the audience to become invested and attached to these characters singularly before they are a unit. Whereas, like mentioned, Vox Machina starts out together, and the development comes a little later. Mighty Nein is a bit of a slower build, but the culmination of these characters coming together and us already being invested makes the moment when they all team up all the more satisfying. Not only is the way that the characters come together different than Vox Machina, but the characters themselves feel different, which lends back to the shift in tone that I mentioned earlier. The Mighty Nein as a fantasy series feels more adult and dark than Vox Machina ever does. That's not to say there isn't moments of bleakness or maturity in Vox Machina. It is still an adult series with tons of blood, sex, and swearing, but the difference comes in the themes and characters themselves. The characters in Vox Machina are flawed, all with their own trauma and elements of their past haunting them, challenging them to be better people. But they are, for the most part, semi-well-adjusted, functioning people. Remember, they start the series as a group. They have some sort of support, a sort of found family. Whereas in the short amount of time we've spent with The Mighty Nein, we get a much different crop of characters. There are some similarities that overlap and some fantasy tropes that cross over in both shows in terms of character traits, but you get the sense that a majority of these characters are simply broken. These are not characters whom have experienced the warmth and love of camaraderie and friendship, but instead are incredibly fractured souls that are just struggling to survive. The characters struggle with alcoholism, losing their faith in religion, and even coming face to face with awful things that they themselves have done in their past. Without spoiling the show, there is something that one of our characters does around the middle point of the season that had my jaw absolutely hitting the floor simply because I was just shocked the show would get that dark. In general, there is much less humor in The Mighty Nine, and the storyline itself feels more akin narratively to something like Game of Thrones with its political nature. The series isn't like Vox Machina, where its characters go on this sprawling adventure to seek out magical items. It's focused on characters trying to stop a war between two kingdoms that would put countless innocent lives at stake, all while containing the high fantasy elements that we love in Vox Machina. All of this to say, The Mighty Nine is a very different show than Vox Machina. The characters are deeper and darker, the story more focused and mature, and the overall tone of the show puts the adult in adult animated fantasy series, which is why I'm so surprised I loved it as much as I did. When I made the Vox Machina video, it was born out of my love for a series that finally scratched the itch left by Lord of the Rings, a fleshed out world of high fantasy storytelling with charm and whimsy. It had its more mature moments, but wasn't afraid to let its characters be goofy and silly. Whether it was Scanlan singing one of his silly songs,
he hides in the pitch. They're stealthy and quite deadly, but I forget which one is which.
He's Vax.
She's Vax.
or one of Grog's meathead moments.
How's anyone supposed to get drunk from these things?
The show was good old-fashioned fantasy fun, so when I heard Mighty Nine was a little darker, I hesitated. However, I am beyond happy to say that I loved it just as much as I did Vox Machina. The characters may not be as funny or charming, but they may be more interesting characters that feel a little more complex. They may not be a fun, tight-knit group just yet, but seeing the gang come together and see the dynamics between characters like Caleb and Not the Brave develop over time and not just be pre-established brings its own sense of satisfying storytelling and character writing. I'm not going to say I like one show more than another because A, I don't think it's fair to compare a series that has one season against a series that has 3 seasons, and B, I think that both of these shows are satisfying for different reasons. One is a more whimsical, adventurous series that is a little more lighthearted, the other a bit darker with richer characters and a more focused political narrative. So for now, all I can do is just highlight how much I love and adore both of these shows. I flew through Vox Machina in about a week and a half and flew through The Mighty Nine in about 3 days. They are super bingeable shows that I cannot get enough of. I will eagerly be awaiting Season 4 of Vox Machina as well as Season 2 of The Mighty Nine, and I cannot wait to see where both series go from here. If you are a fan of anime or shows like Avatar: The Last Airbender, I cannot recommend both of these series enough. The animation is stellar, the voice acting is superb, and the storytelling is excellent from all angles. Easily 2 of my favorite shows that I've seen in recent memory, and are satisfying the double whammy itch of wanting great animated media and great fantasy media. Well, that is really it for today, guys. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to me if you want to hear more from me, and click the little bell notification button so you get notified when I post new content. Also, let me know what you thought of the first season of Mighty Nine in the comments down below. It would be greatly appreciated. I love to interact with you guys. And of course, I will see you on the next video.